Nabongo means king. I'm therefore the king of Wanga kingdom.
Any scholar who has researched on the archived history of the powerful African kingship dynasties can never miss the tale of the Nabongo of the Wanga people. The historical Wanga kingdom is documented as the most highly developed and centralized kingdom in the Kenya's entire history before the advent of the British colonialism in the early 19th century.
The founder of this kingdom, Nabongo Wanga, who settled here in the 11th century. Nabongo Wanga, when he left the leadership, he was succeeded by his son Wabala. Wabala was succeeded by his son Musui. Musui was succeeded by his son Chibwire. Chibwire was succeeded by his son Musindalo. Musindalo was succeeded by his son Chitechi. Chitechi was succeeded by his son Netia.
As it is with the Suba people, the Wanga ancestors are believed to have been part of the tribes that formed the Baganda kingdom before succession wrangles among the sons of Kabaka engulfed the kingdom, tearing apart all its foundation.
You cannot say the kingdom was not there. It was there, but it was moving. It was sort of a mobile kingdom because they were looking for settlement. Now the person who settled and came up with a kingdom that became famous up to today, 1,000 years ago, was Wanga. And the father settled in Lela, where he was born. He had brothers like Muhova, who moved from Lela and went to Teriki. There was Sakwa, who moved to Bondo, settled along the Lake Victoria.
According to the Wanga customs, the heirs of the throne were drawn from the king's paternal line, a system that was common among most of the African communities that had kingship governance structure.
This was purely hereditary. What it says is that the succession to power is hereditary, in that when the ruling king passes on, his son, one of his sons takes over. And it's not automatic. He may have a preferred son that he used to like so much and maybe anoint him to take over from him. But the task now remains with the Council of Elders, these people you see here. Not necessarily the firstborn, it depends. During those days, the kings used to marry many wives, so they could pick from any of the wives.
In the kingdom of Wanga, the heir of the throne had to pass a mandatory vetting process officiated by the Council of Elders, and this involved taking a bull's life by a single strike using a spear.
When you are installed during the death of your father and you're taking over, you are actually installed as a Nabongo. But then you are actually a Nabongo, but you cannot be confirmed in that position until you go through the test. The test is so hard, so difficult, in that it's like you are praying to your gods to take care of you, because there are several tests, hurdles that you have to maybe go through. One, you must spear the bull. And that bull, when it is speared, it must go into the heart where the body of the king is lying instead, so that it lies besides the body. That means you have been accepted by the ancestors to take over the leadership. If the cow or the bull had gone wild and ran away from the crowd, then I wouldn't have been taken. I wouldn't have been installed. That means the ancestors have rejected you.
But not all sons born in the lineage of the Nabongo had an automatic ticket to the throne. Siring of twins automatically disqualified the born sons to be heirs.
If you happen to give birth to twins, then definitely you will be disqualified. Somebody else will take over. Number two, if you happen to interfere with somebody else or your subject's marital status, in that you interfere with somebody's wife, you snatch somebody's wife, definitely you'll be seen to be somebody who is not fit to take care of your subjects.
The crowning of the king or coronation ceremony was conducted by a sacred clan, and none of the elders' council had the right to take up the rule unless he belonged to the sacred clan.
There is a clan that takes that responsibility. They are known as Abakalibo. Abakalibo are the ones who are charged with that responsibility of crowning the king.
To symbolize the lethal powers of Nabongo, the kings adopted the tiger's coating, and anyone approaching the throne had to bow before His Majesty Nabongo or lie on his abdomen as a gesture of respect.
Even in your own home, do you go sitting on your father's chair? The head of the family, his chair is always reserved for him. So this one here, nobody will want to sit on it because they feel that is reserved, that is made for me. So it's not a chair to be shared by anybody. It is specifically for me.
The most notable powerful Nabongo, who led successful battles and conquered the neighboring kingdoms, had one slogan to their enemies: surrender to live under the king's mercies, or stay in battle line and die. Such kings are Nabongo wa Mkoya, who ruled between 1697 and 1795, Nabongo Shiundu, who ruled between 1841 and 1882, Nabongo Mumia, who ruled between 1882 and 1949, and his son Nabongo Shitawa took over from 1949 to 1974. Although the kingdom was termed as formidable but prone to succession feuds, the most notable resulting in the splitting of the kingdom when the sons of Nabongo Osundwa rivaled each other over the throne. The eldest son, Kweyu, was out-twisted by his younger brother Wamkoya Netia, who then succeeded Osundwa. In protest, Kweyu seceded and founded Wanga Mukulu, or Upper Wanga Kingdom, while Wamkoya Netia ruled Wanga Elureku, or Lower Wanga Kingdom. The two states coexisted, but Wanga Elureku rightfully remained the Wanga king. During his reign, Nabongo wa Mkoya Netia employed the Maasai mercenaries to reinforce security as well as raid neighbors for cattle.
During that time, the Maasais came to the kingdom and they acted as the security arm of the kingdom.
Towards the end of 18th century, during the reign of Nabongo Mumia, the kingdom was visited by Arab and Swahili slave traders, and Nabongo Mumia saw it as the only opportunity of repaying his enemies like Bukusu, who had caused Wanga Kingdom sleepless nights. The British imperialists supported him in order to get allies in the imposition of colonial rule. As Nabongo aggressively waged wars against his enemies, he expanded his kingdom and imposed compulsory tax to raise revenue. The Nabongo's power trickled down to the clans and families through council of elders, who were subject to Nabongo and exercised direct influence over them in the regions.
There are issues that come to the council, and they are deliberated in the council, and decisions are finally transmitted to the king.
Yeah, there must be a quorum because we have a constitution, just like the other organization may have a constitution, about 2/3 majority, but we don't have any gender-based. We only the majority.
The council is nominated. I send out a word to a certain clan to request them to send me an elder who can sit on my council. So when he comes, my executive who are here will interview the elder to see whether he fits in the council. Say like arbitration cases over clan disputes, family disputes, petty offenses, such decisions, they will discuss and then they come to me. Say, what can we do about this? This is what we have come up with. Then I will definitely tell them the way it is, you can rule it like this.
All cases arbitrated by the council had to be presented to Nabongo for final ruling, and his decree was final.
During the days when this position was administrative, during Nabongo Umia's time, you wouldn't question what the king has decided. You would only go quietly and advise him. And as a council, you didn't have powers to revoke what the king has decided. You were actually to take instructions. You could not defy the instructions from the king.
In this kingdom, women are forbidden to sit in the council or partake in any decision-making of the kingdom.
Our tradition did not allow us to have to sit with women, only men. So there we follow our traditional constitution, which was men only.
The fate of all members of the council lied barely at the king's mercy.
It is a position of leadership. You want to lead here, and at home you are unable to lead anybody. We need somebody with integrity, and somebody who can assume responsibility. And responsibilities don't only come here, even at home.
And he must be somebody who is maybe an opinion leader, somebody who will bring value to the council, not just somebody who will come and be a spectator or a listener, and then he walks away without giving contribution. We need a lot from the elders, because we also serve the government in one way or the other.
Other than the king having powers to lay off responsibilities of his council, the clan had right to recall their representative through a petition presented to the Council of Elders.
When they are not well represented, they can come to the king, say that so and so, although he is with you, but outside there is not doing the right job, or we are not being represented effectively. So the king would send the information to the council. We shall sit and they discuss, and if it means a replacement is done to satisfy the clan.
The title Nabongo remained honorable in the kingdom, even among his members of the council. And when I failed to honor His Majesty Nabongo Peter Mumia II, I got it rough.
You would have said His Majesty, the King, or His Royal Highness. But when you say His Honorable, it means I'm in an elective position.
Fred Osundwa has served as a chief advisor to the king for over 20 years. He is the first man to feel the wrath of the king, though the king has no powers to fire him.
My responsibility is to make sure that the king does not go offside. The king does not miss his diary. The king does not miss his sleep. And to make sure that if there is any other function, if that function is safe for us to go or not. Because we can't just go any function. This was the one who will send me home. The king will just send me home by his mouth, but the committee will sit and decide. Is he going or not?
In this kingdom, the
That's why you have the advisory committee to advise the king. Yeah. The king can fire us, but we come to the point and tell him, no, this is the way we have to move.
Wanga practiced polygamy, and a man was given more respect depending on the number of the wives he had. This is because only a very wealthy man could afford to pay bride price for several wives. However, marrying a person from one's own clan is considered a taboo. Nabongo Peter Mumia II broke the customary marriage system of his ancestors, where the king drew his respect from the many wives he had.
Today, things have changed. Any decision you make, you must consult. Because consultation is very, very important. Because we are in a world where democracy is actually evident, and we can't cheat ourselves that we are in a different world. I'm married with one wife, not 100 wives like my grandfather Mumia, and 5 children, not over 200 children like my grandfather. So you can see the difference.
In the midst of civilization, the kingdom has not been spared, and at this point, I had to ask if Nabongo in the 21st century has powers as his forefathers, or it's just a title for identity.
I'm very relevant in the system because, as you are aware, the governments have been formed from the background of culture. There is no government that was formed without impressing on culture. So mine is a cultural position. I'm a cultural leader. And in the ministry of the government, there is a ministry of culture. That means, since I'm not in administration, and I'm in culture, and I'm very relevant because I'm a traditional leader. What I know, a young man in the Ministry of Culture doesn't know. He'll have to come to me to get more information if he has to use it in his administrative duties. In fact, if anything, if Wanga was actually treated the way other governments are treating their own cultural leaders, Wanga would be far, because you can go across in Uganda, you will find the government comes in a lot to help the traditional leaders. So you find that although their history, you find the Kabaka's history is intact, and although there was a disturbance sometimes, but you find it is intact because the government has come in and other cultural, leaders. Other African countries, I think, they are even going further. Like in West Africa or in South Africa, we have even in South Africa we have the House of Traditional Leaders, whereby that is just in a parliament. Traditional leaders sit and they also make decisions that affect the government.
The Nabongo kingdom now remains a historical tale in the books, and the pieces of the archived history at the gallery only serves as a library of information to the scholars.
Wanga kingdom is famous. It's known all over the world. We receive people here from Canada. Amzung comes all the way to Kenya, you find he's here. What's the problem? Well, the Wanga kingdom, is it still there? So yes, here you are in the right place. Said, well, I'm doing my PhD. Can I interview you, give me some facts about this kingdom? We'd go, talk to him, give him everything, he records. When he goes back, he calls you back to tell you that my paper was accepted, and it was wonderful.
Mzee Wamanya moves us around the gallery where all the artifacts of the Wanga are archived dating back as early as 19th century.
Hizi stools, hizi ndio viti vya zamani. Kila mzee alikuwa na yake. Hii iko tofauti. Hii ya mguu nne on the special cases ya king. Alikuwa nakana kwa miguu ya nne, ni sasa yake kubwa. Kwa hivyo hii sio ya king, iko mfano yake, lakini yake iko kwa palace. Iko mahali pake. Wakati watu wanakuwa na crown, wanakuwa na occasion kubwa, yeye mwenyewe ana preside, anavaa kwa hili kama hii kubwa. Sasa pa ile atakuwa anakalia, alafu anashika mkuki yake na amevaa regalia yake kama amevaa hivi. Sasa hiyo ni official function ya country, all the community, the whole area, the communities and preside over. This one, hii ngozi hii kuna nini unaona hii? Hii ndio king's attire Hii ndio lazima siku ile inavalishwa, siku ile anawekewa nini crown, na anakuwa crowned, anakuwa enthroned, lazima awe amevaa vile, amevaa hivi, na hii iko chini yake panani, ameikalia, amekanyaga, kwa sababu hii ni leopard na hii ni mixture ya leopard na tiger. Yes. So waliamini kwamba all these fierce animals ndio kings wa zile wanyama huko outside kwenye bush wild, kwa sababu chui anaogopewa sana na wanyama wengi sana, hata na tiger pia. Kwa hivyo they combined these skins to be a cloak for the king, and when he wears it, I think when you go to him, you will shrink a bit. You can't face him just publicly as if you are facing an ordinary man while seated with that regalia. He fly with peace all the times, peace. Hii inamaanisha peace. So all the times the king prays for peace to happen in the community. So wherever he goes, or whenever he presides, or whenever he sits, he has to have this.
Moses Wandole says cultural festivals are the only remaining pillars of identity for the African communities, as there are weak or no policies to safeguard African heritage.
All governments must ensure that cultural activities are strengthened, starting from school level up to the community level, so that we have annual events that will remind those who are fast forgetting about cultural activities and their values. We have those who don't have such maybe in their communities and would move into the adjacent communities to have a show that's showcasing. And then also we have always given proposals to the government that the government should really fund community leadership, especially traditional leaders, so that the system is strengthened.
If you go to Uganda, the traditional leadership is not only recognized, but it is financially supported. So there are a lot of things they're able to do more than what we can do.
Nabongo now calls upon the Luhya community to solidify its feeble foundation by bringing together all the 18 Luhya tribes with a common goal of conserving their heritage.
We need a Luhya cultural festival where the whole western region will meet in one place and showcase their cultural values. Today, if a clan is practicing something that is not acceptable by the Luhyas, there is no forum for us to go and advise them. But that's why we have said, if we have a cultural event that brings together all these sub-tribes of the Luhya, then we can be able to detect where some mistakes are occurring.
It is believed leaders are born, and the Wanga kingdom has remained to hold firm on their kingdom throne and cultures. The Wanga has survived for over 2 centuries, and the current king, His Majesty Nabongo Peter Mumia II, says this kingdom will survive all the storms and is here to stay for many years to come. For Culture Quest, I'm Levis Msumba.
Mino monde bero makunikwen. Urogo makusumu baba.